Audio, 10 seconds. Your mics are hot. Quiet on set. 5 seconds. You're live.
All right.
Give me 1 sec. It'd be nice if this showed up so I can start it. It's like playing a video game. Oh my god. Alright, there we go. Good?
This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Conservation Commission is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by telephone by dialing 408-650-3123 and then using access code 942-845-549. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners. They're also available on our website. Those of you that are following along at home can, are encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission. And before we start, let me confirm all members in attendance. Tom Fallon?
Here.
Michelle Torres?
Here.
Megan Langley?
Here.
Chris Carey?
Here.
Jesse Averka?
Here.
Okay. Please also note this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to participate tonight, you'll have your opportunity. I'd ask you to state your name and also give us your home address. So without further ado, the first item on tonight's agenda is a 7 p.m. public hearing, Turnpike Developments LLC, a notice of intent for property at 7 Mark Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Mr. Kravosky, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you. Glenn Kravosky, BT Environmental, 601 Main Street, North Oxford. One of my clients is their partners.
Chris Cowan.
Good evening. So
Thank you.
we had an opportunity to make a site walk this past Saturday to review the proposed project, which you indicated is to expand basically property at the back of your building to allow for more parking and also for, I think, more speed to accommodate your materials and equipment. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. So Tom and Megan and I did go out to check it out. I mean, what you propose to do follows what was filed with us, so I really have no comments concerning what you want to do with the property. Anything, Tom?
Nope.
Megan, any questions?
Could you just remind me again, is that the cleared area, is that gonna be gravel or paved?
Gravel,
It's gravel.
crushed stone. It's for the
Okay.
rolls that they store on this property. If I could ask my client, what do they do with those stuff?
It's cable material.
Cable.
Underground cable, above the ground cable,
Above
all
ground.
kinds of great cable.
And is there any kind of like berm or anything to keep like the crushed stone from migrating into the?
It's a flat level area. We show the grades. There's only one grade mark through this, so we have generally level. If the commission was looking, we did not propose a berm. It wasn't asphalt.
Yeah.
There are, we didn't expand the reinforced concrete, or should I say the asphalt on the property. And so because this was infiltration with there's a B horizon, hydrologic soil group B underneath this, which is a fairly permeable soil compared to C, but not quite as good as A. We were required, because of the watershed district, to re-infiltrate the water. We do have stormwater from existing grades, the engineers, and we have balanced what we have doing with putting the amount of water back in the ground, which rains on the site, by having this crushed stone. If there was a berm requested, there could be a slight earthen berm along that very boundary at the 25-foot. We didn't go into your 25-foot zone. We did state that any exotic invasives that can be reached with a strap along this line, we will pull them out within that naturally forest area before we get to the wetland, that 25-foot zone that we left intact. But again, the engineer didn't feel the berm was necessary, but we will defer it to the commission if they choose to require us to put a slight earthen berm along the edge.
What's the size of the crushed stone?
3/4 inch.
I mean, I remember it being relatively level. I just didn't know if they considered that in their proposal, like that they didn't think that it was necessary because it's not likely to migrate.
That was my discussion with existing grade, which is Zachary Gless. They've had other projects in front of you. I don't think we've had any problems with the few that I've had in front of you with this engineer, probably 6 or 7 anyways. And we've been working with this company for possibly 10 years, all across from Amherst right now to Natick. And we believe they're reputable. They've been around for years. They're in Dennis and in Douglas. And if we saw any problem, of course, the order of conditions is going to be good for 3 years, and if the commission wants us to monitor that after it's installed and we watch what's going on, we could always modify potentially insignificant project change to put something along that edge to ensure nothing moves. There could be a wooden, 6x6 wooden rail along that edge also on the ground, staked in as those pressure-treated non-asbestos, or what was the other chemical that was used years ago, but we could put something along the edge if you thought there was need for it.
I'm not looking at the plan. So when it snowed or anything like that, there wouldn't be any kind of issue with that?
We've had no plowing issue with snow in the past. There's no push lines along the wood line. This was just an expansion. That's existing asphalt where you can
And
see
when
it in
it
front of the
melts?
building. And the expansion is for more storage of those spools, which is that red area.
Okay.
My left, your right.
All right,
And again, level.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there any comment from the audience? There being none, is there a motion to close?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All right,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Gallo. Thank you, Commission members, again, always. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night, Glenn.
You too, Jessica. And those are available, and we'll contact Jesse on that.
Okay.
Any kind of herbaceous layer that you were interested in, thank you again, appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next matter on our agenda is a 7:05 public hearing. Timothy Johnson, a notice of intent for property at 25 Vinyl Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. Good evening.
Evening. How are you tonight?
Very good. So can you just identify yourself for the record, please?
Yep, Tim Johnson, 25 Vinyl Street.
Okay. And you are, sir?
Jay Galant, architect working with Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
So we came to you 3 meetings ago, something like that, to talk about this project initially. And we're still working on the site design and the stormwater design, so we'd like to continue the notice of intent hearing if we could.
Okay. How far are you in the process?
We're pretty far along, to be honest, but they wanted to be able to come in and just make sure they had everything finished for you guys.
Well, that's the way we like it.
They wanted to, we were pushing to be able to have it come for this meeting, but we didn't want to, they felt that it was just going to be a little too soon, so they wanted to see if we could push it to one more meeting, maybe the August 16th meeting.
I think it's the 14th, right?
14th.
14th.
Okay.
That's the,
Yeah, we'd like to move
You're not
that.
going to be here. though,
I'm
right?
not. I'm not gonna be here for any of the big meetings, it seems.
Will you be here on the 28th?
I am.
Would you have any objection to continuing it to the 28th?
We need to go to planning board also.
It's gonna be the 13th.
Yeah, around the time.
So,
Well, I guess the
would you
question is,
prefer that we go to them first, I guess is the...
well, I think also with the planning board, the question would be, do you really think you'll be able to get approval from them after just one meeting? I think you know the answer to
Best
that,
that
right?
we could.
Right. Well, it's up to you, gentlemen. If you want to proceed on the 14th, that's fine. I know Michelle won't be available, but it's up to you.
We'd like to push for the 14th, and
All right,
we could always contact you to continue if we had to,
Cool.
yes.
that's
Can I
fine.
ask you a few questions just on this report that I've got going on? Okay, so, there's a few things that said, on this, there's a few, in the site inspection, blue flags were observed on the property. But they don't know what the status or their meaning, or if there's any local, state, or regulatory authority that's attached to them. Have you guys established who that is?
Original blue flags that were there?
Ecotech did the first blue flags in 2020, I believe, so then you guys requested that we have them updated, so we just had those updated
Okay.
recently
so
to the
it's-
So
same
the updated
flagging.
report should be based on the new flagging.
It's on the
and
new flagging.
I think maybe the
So the new one after the June 27th, 2024 report? Because I think this is Ecotech that actually wrote this. During the site inspection, blue flags were observed on the property. Ecotech has not conducted a review of these flags, their status, or their meaning with any local, state, or federal regulatory authority. These flags should serve as a warning that some activity has been considered, proposed, or possibly approved or permitted on the property. Furthermore, any resource areas or buffer zone established with these flags could potentially affect the site for the life or the determination, order, or permit.
We can talk to them, because the original blue flags are Ecotech. Before Ecotech, there was no flags, it was never flagged,
Okay, that's interesting.
so
there
we
may have
can-
been somebody that got to the site.
maybe it's
somehow.
something different, but we can contact them and find out for you.
Okay,
Because they did the original, and there was, that was the only flagging that we ever saw before, when I purchased it.
And then the ones that they did for this report are pretty clear.
Yeah, and they're pretty much the same thing as what they told us. They said, didn't seem to be much change.
okay.
Look into that, though.
Makes sense.
Therefore, right, this area appears to be a result of reconstruction of, observed natural upon oversight. It was not delineated as what was recommended for previous measure. It looks like so they're requesting us to make sure that it's the request for abbreviated notice of resource
Sorry,
area.
delineation, that's fine. So you can actually have someone appear from Ecotech at our next meeting? Okay, I think that would be helpful. Now,
Probably get Scott Jordan, the guy that wrote that report.
Oh,
We
there's
know
a
Scott.
flood area.
Do you? Okay.
Could you put a zone A? There was a zone A that they were saying possibly could flood.
what page?
Hold on.
Okay.
Zone A, the project engineer should determine if the present or extent or absent of bordering land subject to flooding the site. So it's a zone A. Could you point out zone A on the map? I couldn't see it on my little one.
I think it's this.
That is zone A. Okay. So that's where the blue flags are, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, with the blue flags are more along the road area here.
Okay.
And then it's the pond, probably another 40, 50 feet in.
And this is the 100-foot buffer, right? Oh, no, this is, right?
That's on that
That's,
buffer.
so 25, 50, and 100, these
Okay.
lines.
Yep.
And that's a zoning line.
All right, so it's a 25-foot here that's gonna impact,
Well, that's the flag line, right?
okay,
And that's the 25 and 50 and 100.
okay. Okay. All right, so I was right on that. I had to take a magnifying glass out for that on my little map.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Well, judging from the audience, I think there may be some questions from some of the people adjacent to Vinyl Street. So if any of you have questions, I'd ask you to stand up, give us your name and your address, please. And don't be shy.
I'll go first.
All
My
right.
name is Betty DeCinskis. I live at 7 Nancy Drive. We are the third house in from Vinyl Street. So I have several questions. Is this a 40B
It is not.
development? Okay, good. The gate is locked.
Yes.
What if the house catches on fire? And
That's why we're here. We're trying to take the house down. We have a lot of
Right.
kids and activity down there,
I know.
and there's
We
a
hear that.
lot of hazards and danger. We've asked,
So-
we already asked previously.
So ma'am, just to your point, there actually is, after this meeting, there's also a hearing on taking down the house on that
Yeah,
property.
I know that.
Okay.
I kinda saw that, thanks.
Okay,
And the road right now is a single driveway.
Yes.
Our properties from Nancy Drive abut that property.
Yep.
So there's not much room from your property to even make a road.
There's about 60 feet there.
And in the winter, when there's heavy snow, where would you put the snow?
Well, you guys are much higher, so
But our properties go down the hill. We're up high, but our property lines go down the hill. So if you're plowing snow, you're most likely going to plow it onto our properties.
we would keep it, retain it onto our property,
Or you put it on the other side, which is your property.
which is also fine. We're not opposed to that, really snow has probably been the furthest thing from our mind, to be honest, but we can always work with that.
We'll probably have a lot of snow this year. And so what are you gonna do about the road? I mean, I don't know what the guidelines are to make a road. Are you gonna fill in wetlands?
oh,
There's-
bad idea.
Can't do that.
Definitely not.
To the right,
Why I'm asking.
so if you're going down the road, on the left side is the wetlands, on the right side there is no wetlands.
Right,
Until you get further down in the property, there is a slice of wetland down there.
yeah.
But then, at that point, the road will turn. So as soon as we get down a little bit further, that's gonna turn. So we're basically just making that as wide as we have to, for the town to.
And there's enough room there for you to make
Yeah.
a regular road so it's one way in, same
Absolutely.
way?
14 feet wide.
And ma'am, to your point, the planning board will ask for input from the fire department, and they may very well have some specific recommendations on the way that road is constructed to ensure that they can gain access to the subdivision. So, I think your points are well taken. I think that the applicant understands that, but you can also, and I would encourage you to take those to the planning board too when they meet on this project.
Traffic. So you're planning to build 42 units, 84 cars, two cars to a unit?
Yep.
That's 84 cars that are going up and down Vinyl Street and getting out from Vinyl Street onto Oxford Street, James Street comes down there. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
And people, because Vinyl Street is a straight road down, this morning as I was coming out, there was a white truck coming down, flying down Vinyl Street to meet someone at your gate. And
Today?
today. A big white truck, and there was a van down there already.
Okay.
And I really had to stop before entering the road because he was flying down. And that's gonna happen, a lot when there's more traffic coming from Vinyl Street, which is not a very wide street, plus our neighborhood traffic.
Yep.
So getting out is terrible. I don't know what the town can do about that intersection.
Yeah, we could talk with the town, but I'm sure there's probably something like speed bumps or stop signs or, I used to live right on Oakwood Ave for 12 years, so I know that area very well.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, that whole corner up by the school is pretty tough, but
It's tough to get out now. And imagine with 84 cars maybe coming out at the same time every day.
Yep.
It's gonna be even tougher. And what's the plan, are these rentals or are they?
no, they're for purchase.
It's per purchase,
Yep.
55 and older or families?
No age restriction, they're gonna be about 2,100 square feet homes is what we're looking at. So, they're gonna be condos side by side attached, so they will be 3-bedroom. So, big enough for a family, it's actually a good size for a condo, but we're, really targeting almost anybody, but we're not, it's not a 40B setup by any means. These are gonna be a nice quality homes.
Now the pond area, what will happen with the pond area? We have any number of wildlife living down there, packs of coyotes, hawks.
We're not touching it.
Porcupines, turtles, snapping turtles is big in the pond. Are you going to do anything around the pond to prevent children from going in?
this is probably what the commission will allow to be done or what they want to be done, you know. It's, we're trying to make it so it's a nice entryway going in, you know, but, that, I don't really have control over that. That's in wetlands area and
And ma'am, we're waiting to get, we want to hear from the Ecotech representative, and what we normally do is we will, once we have all the information, it seems to me this is not yet complete. Once we have all of the information, we will, schedule a site walk and we'll go down there, probably with the Ecotech representative, and then, we'll make some determinations, but just, it may be self-evident, but, we certainly don't, encourage or tolerate filling of ponds or filling of wetlands. And so I would imagine, to your point, and I don't know specifically what this conditions are, but there should be no impact on that pond. In fact, the whole purpose of our commission is to make sure that there is no wetland degradation. So again, we'll be monitoring this subdivision very closely.
And the area that floods the zone A, where is that in reference to?
if you're going down the road, it would be on the left, the pond is what they're saying. It's
So
it's a
that would-
possible flood zone. It's not, you know, I've been in there 4 years now looking at this, and it's never even come remotely close to that road. You can't even see the pond from there. The pond is set pretty far
No, you
back.
can't.
And actually, if I may, I can actually, it touches upon the vernal pools here, and it says that it's 500 feet away, basically, that there's, it talks about the vernal pools in here, it's outside.
Way outside.
It's way outside of what they're actually looking to build on. And it talks about all of the other rare species based on the review in 2021. It talks about all of that. They're not touching it, they're not looking to touch it, they're staying away from it, so.
What are the hours, once it is developed, what will the hours be that they would be working?
7 to 5.
Would it be weekends, just
Hopefully
Monday to
not.
Friday?
Hopefully not, no, but nobody really wants to do that. I would say, you know, Monday through Friday is probably, you know, reality, but, you know, could leak onto a Saturday here and there, but we wouldn't be pushing for 6 days. a
Especially
week.
heavy equipment coming if you're taking anything
Mm-hmm.
out up on Vinyl Street.
Yeah, we're actually, they already cleared that about 20 years ago,
Yeah.
was the sand and gravel took it
Yeah.
out. So there's quite a bit out of there already, so we're trying to maintain and use what we have there and not have to remove, because that's costly as it is, so.
And part of the planning board process will be to establish work hours and that sort of thing
Yes.
on the site.
And how long will
Part
the
of it.
construction take approximately? If all things go well?
Depends how fast we can sell them. So if we can move along, you know, it could be a couple of years.
So you would build as you sell?
Yeah, I would build probably about 4 or 5 ahead, and then leave the finishes for homeowners to pick out, but it all depends on how it goes. I mean, your main actual louder construction will be at the beginning, you know, forming the roads and getting the sidewalks and all utilities in. After that, it's more, you know, set away. And I plan to leave as many trees along everybody's property, so it's more secluded area. I'd rather make it more of a, you know, secluded area versus, you know, looking at people's backyards.
And the town is okay with doing this many units, rather than single-family homes?
It's zoned for it, so,
I
again, we have to go to
suppose
the planning board.
That's,
Yeah, you
that's
have to
gonna
go to the
really,
planning
that
board.
decision's gonna rest with the
Okay.
planning board.
Alright, I guess that's my questions for now.
All right,
Well, thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Please, sir, can you, your name and your address, sir?
You said,
Sir, you-
Arthur Roy, 14 Vinyl Street.
Yes, sir.
You said you called it a subdivision. Is it a subdivision?
I didn't call it a
Yes,
subdivision.
you did. Yes, you did.
All right,
I heard you say that.
well,
You said you referred to it as a
Perhaps that was-
subdivision. It's
all
not
right.
a subdivision, right?
No,
In other words, you're selling these units. You said you're selling them.
correct,
Are you selling the land with them? In other words, is it a condo?
it's a condo.
Oh, it's a condo.
oh, it is a condominium.
Okay. So you're gonna have condo regulations then?
Well, sir, they'd have to talk to their attorney, but I believe that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we can create individual lots that meet
No,
the lot
no,
requirements.
then you'd have to build a subdivision road all the way down there. I don't think I have enough room for that, 40 feet. Right, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Morris, I appreciate that. Anyone else?
Denise Legere, 3 Nancy Drive. We're
further up by the other side of the fence on the road. Do you guys plan on taking any widen that at all?
Only what we have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be looking to cut any trees down or anything that we don't
I
have
mean,
to.
there's no trees, so, yeah. Okay.
I'm just trying to think of where,
Just the pavement across the street from the park, really.
oh,
Yeah, other side of the fence.
yeah. I would just say that we're just gonna be, whatever we can get away with, probably the minimum is what we're looking at.
Only just enough to get.
Sidewalks, you guys putting sidewalks in?
Whatever is required, so we did talk with, the fire department too, and they wanna, it all depends on what works for them.
Yeah.
Cause it is gonna be a smaller than a regular size, like you were saying, 40-foot road, but it's a two-way passageway, so it really depends on what the fire department is gonna require us to do. We did speak to them about this, and we changed this turning radius already for them,
Yeah.
but we're gonna have to go for that meeting also. So we have a few more. Yep.
Sir.
Question. You're pumping the sewage up to Nancy Drive?
It's gonna be town sewer, yeah,
Yeah, you're pumping it,
whatever is required.
right?
We don't have those plans yet, that's what we're waiting for, we're waiting for the stormwater design to be finished, that's why we're not actually presenting this today.
Right. I never saw a thing like that, on the stormwater thing, that's quite a thing there.
Yeah,
It's pretty impressive.
and the other one's gonna be,
It is.
the other one's gonna be even more,
It's
so.
like a
Yeah,
humongous
This
leach field.
this was a schematic plan, we're actually developing it more.
It's like a humongous leach field. Yeah. But no, the sewage, it says, they call it the pressurized sewer goes up to Nancy
Right,
Drive.
it's a,
Yeah, like an E1.
Pressurized all the way up to Nancy Drive,
Right.
right there. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where the sewer turns down Nancy Drive now. I'm
That's
from
the-
Royce Brothers, we built Nancy Drive back in the 70s.
Ah,
Yeah. I've been living there since 1968. My house on the corner. There were no houses there at all when I moved there, yeah. But I mean, I was just curious, you must have to have a pumping station down there.
We may,
we have, it's only a 2-inch sewer main, yeah, so it's all gonna get.
2-inch sewer main, that's it for the
well,
whole.
if it's
For-
2 inch,
the
that means
force
it's a
main,
pressurized
it's a
system, so
force
it's a
main.
force main, so it would be a pump.
Yeah, you have a pumping station.
That's right.
That's the same as property that we just did.
sir, stand up and your name and address.
Mike O'Neill from 19 Nancy Drive. Is that going to be the only entrance to the property?
It is.
There's no requirement for, in case of an emergency and that road gets blocked,
That's why there's a circle. Same as Nancy Drive. If you think about it, that's one way in, one way out. So it'll be the same, it's gonna kinda duplicate a Nancy Drive.
okay.
You're gonna have the same thing, or Oakwood Ave for the same meaning, you go in, actually Oakwood has Commonwealth off of it, but without Commonwealth.
I just didn't understand as far as like, there's, because you have so many units in there, we're talking 84 units.
No, 84 people.
84
people, so if you're looking at 42.
So 42 units.
Yeah.
And that would be the same thing with any kind of right-of-ways or anything like that? In case they have to get in there, in case, say that road gets blocked and the fire department needs to get in there, how would they be able to do that?
I'm sure that they will address that.
Yeah, it's
with the
two-way,
planning board.
so
Okay,
that's up to them.
all right, thank you.
It's definitely part of the process, though, to work that all out.
They figure it out. I live on a little tiny private one-way road, and the fire department can get up there, they get out, they get in, they get out,
Yeah, they find a way.
they figure it out.
I have another question.
Please.
The property at the end of the street, looks out into where the house is. Are you going to do anything to, eliminate the lack of privacy for people who live at the end, or, that don't, like, down at my end, we have the hill, and it goes down, but people at the other end, I mean, their property is like level.
So we're actually
with
staying
yours.
pretty far off of that anyways because of the wetlands that are there. You can't see it too well from here, but the wetlands extend all through here. So this is, you're over here, well, they're over here, should I say, at the end?
Yeah.
And this is all wetlands here. So we'll be set further back.
50 feet beyond the wetland.
Yeah.
So it's going towards Boyce Street,
Yeah.
the development
Yes.
itself.
Yeah, it's gonna go down and turn. So if you were going down now, it would turn away from Nancy Drive at the end. Because there is a lot of hill back there as it is, so.
Anyone else?
I'm Brandon Haskins, 5 Nancy Drive. I am the last driveway before the gate. My concerns, I guess I'll touch on some of her, what she mentioned was snow removal. And then further up, it came up with sidewalks. How much room is there gonna be, and how do you, it's gonna be condos, association. You're not personally gonna take care of it, so
Correct.
how are you gonna know road salt and snow removal is gonna stay away from the wetlands? So,
Every association will be held, accountable to the standards of the conservation as it is, so when that goes in, the bylaws will have to be written in there. I am not, I can't really touch on that because I'm not in control of that, because as the builder and not an owner there, then I wouldn't have the say. But there'll be a plan that's gonna be put forth, I'm sure, from the planning board and, the highway department and stuff like that, to make sure that things are done properly. So then when they take over, the condo association takes over, they'll already kinda, this is the law around here, and this is how you do it.
yeah, it makes the law.
Who makes
That's
the
a
law?
good-
The condo
Condo
association.
association.
The condo association does, but they're gonna have to abide by what the town tells them to do.
Hopefully you get owners that would
Highway
like to
department.
abide by that, right?
I mean, at some point, there's gonna be a master deed, there'll be condominium bylaws that will talk about how, owners are elected. And I don't know what your experience is with condominiums, but then, they serve on a board, they'll determine what the costs are gonna be to maintain the property for removal, and maintenance of roads and that sort of thing. So, again, I don't know what Mr. Johnson has in mind, or, what the legalities are, but that's what will happen at some point, I presume.
If we have certain stipulations about snow storage or salt usage or whatever though, I mean, we would want to have those agreed upon now,
Well,
Not- or I don't mean this meeting, but before we,
that's our standard condition. One of our standard conditions is that
Yeah.
there's no snow, no snow will be stored in wetland areas, or even within a certain number of feet within a
Right.
wetland area.
right. So that's
Precisely
what I'm just
because
like,
we-
that this is, it's not just up to these future owners to figure out what they're gonna do.
No,
It's-
not at all.
Right.
I mean, I presume when this process is completed, there's gonna be an order of conditions that's gonna set forth in, I think, fairly substantial detail, what the plan is gonna look like, what you can do and what you can't do.
Yep.
So,
And those condominium bylaws will have to reflect all that, and anything else that is agreed upon, right?
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
are you sure? I'm kidding, go ahead.
You're gonna have like a fancy gate or something right there at the entrance, or pillars or something, designate that this is, is there gonna be a name to this thing, to this place?
We don't have a name for it currently, but we will.
You will have a name.
Yeah, but I don't know if we're gonna do, first off, we don't know if we have the room to do any of that. I'd rather keep it more of a low-key thing.
I thought you
To
said
be
they're gonna
honest-
be high-class, very fancy houses, you said.
They'll be upscale,
Okay.
you know?
Well, yeah, I know, a couple nice pillars in the beginning of that, right?
It might look really
A
nice.
nice little sign there.
I might not have the room to do it. I don't disagree.
Okay, so, you're requesting to continue the public hearing to August 14th.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Your name and your address?
Nicole LeFave, 16 Nancy Drive. My property is on the opposite side of Nancy Drive from my neighbors here. So there's 3 major issues here that I see with this project. Wetlands, safety, and financial. Mr. Garland mentioned that this could have an effect on wetland degradation. And according to Auburn's wetlands protection regulations and the Auburn GIS, this is designated as vegetated wetlands.
Well, not all of it, ma'am.
No, but there is an area of vegetated wetlands on this property.
And they
that
can't build there.
Considering a building.
Correct.
Any proposed work permitted by the commission in a vegetated wetland shall not destroy or alter any portions of said vegetated wetland, nor shall the proposed work impair in any way the vegetated wetland's ability to perform any any of the functions in section 2.021. This work would destroy or impair the wetland's ability to do its natural function.
Well, ma'am, to your point, that's why we're continuing the public hearing, because I want to hear from Scott Jordan at Ecotech, who, Mr. Jordan has appeared before our commission. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and he's represented applicants probably for the last 20 years that I can recall. And so to your point, one of the things that we are going to insist on is, or determine, is whether this project has an impact on wetlands. So I take your point. We wrote the regulations and we know what they say. So, you know, it's our duty that the applicant complies with the law, and that's what our intention is going to be.
Great. Second issue, safety. Betty already brought this up. That intersection cannot handle any more traffic than it already has. I have a 4-year-old. Denise has 3 children on that street. And we ride our bikes, we walk to the playground behind Julia Bancroft, which is no longer a school, by the way, since you say you're a native. So,
I went to Julia Bancroft.
it's no longer a school.
I know. It's known as Julia Bancroft.
So what's the town's plan to mitigate all this traffic that at least 84 cars are gonna be in and out?
So, I got it. So, ma'am, we're the Conservation Commission. We have, our jurisdiction is limited to the Wetlands Protection Act, our regulations and bylaws, and the Rivers Act. Those are all important issues that are best addressed by the planning board and the fire department, frankly. So, I mean, I can offer you my comments, but I have no jurisdictional authority over those issues.
Fantastic, I look forward to the planning board meeting.
Okay?
What's the height of the building you're planning on building?
It would be average height.
What is average height?
27,
Give me a minute to
28
think,
feet.
please. You're
I'm
gonna
sorry,
be
how tall?
About
27, 28 feet,
Yeah.
standard 2-story house.
standard 2-story house.
What was it again? The height?
About 27, 28 feet. Standard, regular 2-story home, as every home is.
Touch on something, you said it was about 2,000 square feet each home? So what's that, on average, about 3 bedrooms?
3 bedrooms.
So that's more than 84 people, that's 3 people at least per.
Doesn't mean everybody's driving the car. That's presuming that everybody that is living
You
there.
said people, so that's why I went.
Well, somebody had said that there would be
Based
84
on the
cars,
car.
so.
Yeah, most families have 2 cars,
Correct. I agree.
so that's
I'm not
84 cars
disagreeing.
coming out.
I'm just saying that the 3rd bedroom doesn't mean that it could be a child, it could be somebody that doesn't drive, it could be not used at all. We're putting 1st floor masters on these to really drive towards maybe some young professionals or retirees that are just sick of, you know, maintaining their property as much, so this is kind of giving them a good space. We're not putting all the bedrooms up on the 2nd floor, so 1st floor living is available in these homes. So we're not putting a restriction of a 55 plus on it, but these are, you know, in reality gonna be a little bit more upscale, so the cost is gonna be a little bit more up there.
But you're still adding to the services for the town, police, fire, schools.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if Auburn can handle any more than it's got.
Ma'am, again, you can bring those concerns up with the planning board.
I'm just.
You have any other questions, ma'am?
The rest of my questions are better for the planning board.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I just have one more. Is there any endangered species known in that wetland?
We can have an assessment done. I believe that
So-
Ecotech,
It says, based upon the review in 2021, the Natural Heritage Atlas 25, as viewed through, actually, I can give this to you if you want. This is my copy from Ecotech.
I think
And
it's
it
posted,
is-
isn't it, on the website?
It is posted on the website, and I'll print out another one.
Okay.
But I think, again, I read that over, and I understand your concerns. I mean, I get it. But the habitat, the rare species, it's covered in there. The only thing, they're outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. They're not impacting those wetlands, like you're saying. And I think most of your concerns that you have right now are for that other board. Like, right now, what they're doing is outside of our jurisdiction.
They're not totally out of the 100.
Not totally out, you're right, you're completely.
90% of the
you're
project is-
completely right.
I'm being precise.
You're completely right.
But they are out of, they're totally out of the 25 no build, I believe.
They have to be.
Yeah.
They're,
We are.
And we're not
Barely-
impacting the wetlands itself at all.
Anything that
That's-
remains wetlands that would carry species or anything over there is gonna remain. We're not gonna go in there and try and pretty it up. We're not touching it. We
Is
can't.
well, you can't touch the wetland itself, but you can, depending on how you manage the stormwater, et cetera, could impact. So is there a stormwater management plan that's,
That's what we're waiting
It's
for.
being-
That's why we're not
That's what-
presenting
Being
this
worked
whole
on
thing.
now.
And they're showing how, they showed
You'll
how
have
they were
that
gonna brace
next
everything.
Okay.
Does that affect any of the easement that's between 6 and 8 vinyl? I believe it's 6 and 8.
Which easements are you referring to?
Some kind of easement, underground waterway that leads over to the river on the other side where the power lines are.
I don't know.
I don't know either, because it didn't say anything.
Yeah,
about it.
stormwater. So they must interconnect between each other somehow. I mean, that's stormwater.
Stormwater.
I certainly can't speak for the planning board. They may make a determination to have this project independently reviewed by their own engineer. They often do that with projects of this size, given the number of units that are being proposed. So that, if they go in that direction, which they may, I think that they would better be able to address that in question about an
I didn't
easement.
know if it affected
Exactly.
with the board here.
And just, if the planning board does go ahead and hire someone to review the stormwater plan or any other issues, we will get copies of that too. And we can, consider that whenever we make a decision on this plan, and this application.
the tiniest question, there are the two mapped vernal pools on here, where were they on?
I thought they were outside.
So one, I think, remembering back, it's the one was like 500 feet outside and,
Outside of the limit of,
yeah, the scope of work, it said.
okay,
Thinking that the other one was, I think, outside 200 feet outside the scope of work, I think. I don't know.
okay, so, okay.
I think.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
I guess one more.
Okay, it's your last chance.
Okay,
I'm just kidding, go ahead.
there'll be more next time.
Sure.
You mentioned Worcester Sand and Gravel had dug that out years prior. Has all that been permitted and that permit been cleared? Everything okay? I don't know if that's, again, this committee or the...
Sir, I have no idea.
Did
I have
they
no-
affect the wetlands at all when they did their work, or
I don't know, sir.
do we have to do
It-
research
I
on
can-
that, or...
Well,
Gentlemen here might know the best answer.
I can tell you that during the time I've been on the commission, there's been no application to remove sand and gravel from that area. So if that took place, they either didn't notify us or it didn't happen. It's happened nearly the last 30 years.
Yeah, it was about 20 years ago.
Okay, well, then we didn't get notice, or,
Well, you had notice.
excuse me, sir,
They pushed it a lot.
sir, whatever they were doing, if they removed it, it might have been a situation where it was not jurisdictional for our board, and so we did not get notice because they didn't have to give us notice. All right, well, if there are no other questions, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 25 Vinyl Street to August 14th?
I move to continue the 25 Vinyl Street to August 14th.
7 p.m.?
Just the notice of intent, right?
This is the notice of intent. 7 p.m.? Jesse, we have something else?
Yeah, so it'll be 7 p.m.
Okay. There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, it's a vote. All right, everyone, so with respect to the notice of intent, continue to our next meeting on August 14th. Next matter on our agenda is a request for determination of applicability at 25 Vinyl Street to remove the single-family home currently on the property. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed to vote. All right, so this is, ma'am, this is the house that you were referring to. We have been down there. It obviously is abandoned. I mean, I don't know how often teenagers hang out there, but I suspect they do. I
Every
would if
day.
I was a teenager.
Every day.
Okay, so tell us what you plan to do with respect to that house. And I know the obvious answer is you're gonna take it down, but tell us how you're gonna do it.
We're gonna bring in dumpsters, 30-yard dumpsters.
Mhm.
We're gonna take the equipment, implode it into the foundation,
Mhm.
crunch it up, put it directly into dumpsters and remove it outside.
What about the foundation?
Foundation is an old stone foundation. I was planning to dig it up, put it in a pile, and see what we gotta do from there. We can remove it or not, but it is just stone.
Okay. And when do you propose to do that?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
We'd like to do it ASAP.
Aside from us, do you need a permit from the town in order
We
to
do.
do it?
Yep.
Okay, and have you applied for that permit?
Yes.
Did you get it?
Because we need the,
You need our approval?
You need us.
we need you, and we
Need
need
you guys to
the
approve.
board.
All right, okay. My memory is that the house itself is not, doesn't pose a danger or a threat to any wetland area or resource area. So, okay, I don't have any other questions. Anyone else? All right, hold on,
Just,
hold on, you'll get your chance.
okay. So it's a stone foundation, so you're just gonna scrape everything off the top of that, pick it up before you kind of put the rocks inside the cellar and kind of leave it there, or?
Well, I believe there's concrete at the bottom, so what I
Okay.
wanna do is remove the rocks. First get all the existing house wood and,
All
whatever
that stuff
materials
off,
out.
okay.
And then take the stone out,
Okay.
clean that up, probably
Okay,
put it
I gotcha.
outside.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Is it a
Okay.
full cellar?
There is, yeah.
So it's what, 6 feet or more?
Yeah, it's about 6 feet.
So what are you gonna do with the hole that's gonna be created? You're gonna fill it in
We're gonna fill it back up.
Okay.
That's,
with just materials
that's
outside?
where the new road will be going through eventually, so,
Okay.
we're probably gonna use on-site materials for right away, but the hope would be is that I could put the actual stones from the foundation back in there to really solid that up.
Okay.
Um,
So when you're done,
And
there will be no chasm there. It'll be level with the rest of the grounds.
it'll be like it never existed.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Just, could you point out exactly where the house is on
On
the?
this plan, it's would be, it's,
Right there.
So it's,
that's the 100-foot.
so it's between the 50-foot and the 100-foot?
Yep.
Okay.
Prior to them purchasing, I noticed the septic tank was open, it was just a hole, was just open. I'm really surprised no kids fell in there or.
That's scary.
That's why we're here.
That's pretty scary,
I've been trying to take it down for quite a while now, and
What's
it's,
gonna happen with the house and the septic tank,
well, the same thing, the septic tank would have to pump it just to make sure there's no materials left in there, and then get rid of it, remove it.
Do you know when the house was last used as a house?
I would say over 30 years ago.
No.
No?
You think
It was
closer?
only- it was probably only about
2010?
maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, my.
Maybe 10 or 12 years ago.
And
2010
there have been
's
squatters
15
there
years ago.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, they start
Nasty?
fires in there, it's spray painted to death,
Sure.
someone's gonna fall through these four floors, there's holes in the floor.
I
It's not
understand.
stable.
Gotcha.
That's gonna happen at the end of my road soon.
That's a different issue.
So, sorry, I'm gathering my thoughts for just a second. So for just because of the septic tank, was that included in the request for determination of like removing the septic tank also? I'm just like, do we?
Associated with the house.
With the house, yeah.
Okay, that's my question, does that include all of that?
I didn't
They would
do
all
that
come out
either.
at the same time.
With the building permit application, it does. So
It does,
would,
okay.
I guess, by default for this.
I mean, I have no, I think it should come out, I just didn't know if it was all encompassing.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Okay.
Any of the material that's already been dumped on the site, is that, okay and approved, or where did it come from?
Well, sir, not by us, number one. Secondly,
Yeah, but it's on
constru-
the land in which the land is next to now.
construction hasn't started yet,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
But material has been dumped on the property, from other properties, via dump trucks, 10-wheel dump trucks.
Anything that is not within our jurisdiction is really beyond our purview. So again, if you have concerns about that, and again,
Okay, so it's up beyond, beyond the wetlands, 100, 200 feet.
it's 100 feet.
variance.
Correct.
It's not you.
It's not us, and
Okay.
I, just so you know, I don't want to give you the impression that we're passing the buck, but I'm very keen on what our jurisdiction is, and if I assert jurisdiction beyond what we have under both the state law and also our bylaw and regulations, you know, we get called on it, so I take it rather seriously. Okay? All right, if there are no other questions, last chance, ma'am?
I have one question just about knocking the house down.
Okay.
You said like there was a cellar, like a 6-foot cellar?
Yeah.
Is there any risk of like a sinkhole? I know you said you're gonna fill it in, is there?
No, I mean, it doesn't, this area doesn't really go for sinkholes, but I mean, we would, the whole point is to get all that material out of there and really sift through it, make sure everything's pretty solid, but there's no, believe it or not, that house is pretty
And then,
solid.
and then once you,
for being what.
and then
For being no windows.
you're gonna compact where the cellar is now.
Yes, when we backfill that, that will be compacted and filled in with some stone, so stone would add more stability to the ground,
Okay.
so.
Nancy Drive is a old sand quarry from what I understand, so I wouldn't want
Yeah,
And that was
a chasm to open up as.
Yeah, you won't have any problems digging there.
yeah. I mean, you guys are always welcome to come and check it out, you know, meet with any of you at any time if you have any concerns, you know, I'm not trying to come in and destroy your neighborhoods or anything like that, I wanna leave it nice, I wanna make this a private area and nice for the town, not, this isn't, you know, I wasn't looking to bring a 40B community to your backyard, so, and I won't be.
Well, if you tell your contractors that, to be a little more polite to the residents.
To be honest,
in the area.
it's locked,
Well,
and
you
I have
got
the key.
one that drives a truck and he's pretty rude to my wife, so.
Yeah,
If you could, just a little word to them.
yeah, I agree,
Trying to be nice.
I agree, I did hear
All
about
she
that.
does is try to get in a driveway and.
Yeah, you know, I can talk to you about that.
Okay, going once, going twice. All right. Is there a motion to close the hearing?
I move to close the hearing.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. All right, very good. So gentlemen, we'll see you on August 14th,
Okay,
and we'll be rolling on your request for determination on the house.
fantastic.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very much for your
everyone.
time.
And we'll bring Scott Jordan on the 14th.
Please do.
I don't think
This
so,
good?
I think I have one.
My trusty notebook.
Better than mine. Non-existent.
Well, it took me,
Planning will be
I don't know, I think I've been on here for like 8 or 9 years, so, yeah, so you've got time.
Yeah.
You've got time to pull
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's good. Yeah, you can't blame
It
him.
was actually behind my old house, I lived on 30 Oakwood Ave, so my backyard literally was that. No, the barn's
Yeah,
still there.
exactly, you're better off.
It has every right, the wood is there.
And you knock,
I remember
a few
because they
meetings.
used to last.
Folks,
Where we used to work.
not to be rude, but we have other business. Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
Are you going to the planning board?
I'm bringing popcorn,
I think next time you should, you know, bring something stronger, would you?
maybe that will help.
You know?
If you guys wanna, I know they're here regarding, I think, actually, I'll let you introduce yourselves and say
Hi.
what you're here for.
Hi. Come on up, don't be shy.
My name is Jacob Rovezi, and I'm a Boy Scout. And I have to do community service hours that involve conservation.
That's fantastic. I'm an Eagle Scout, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost
Yep.
an Eagle Scout.
I was gonna say, it's not because of a jail sentence.
No.
No, it's not where we're.
Just kidding, just kidding. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
it's okay. But yeah, I have to do a 6 to 9 hour community service with my friend, but he's not here because he's sick.
Okay. Do you have something in mind?
No, we're just coming in for ideas. We
Okay.
thought you guys might have something.
I know we had been, like, talking about those bat boxes.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
So, like, there's, like, bat roosting boxes, like, just basically like a birdhouse, but for bats, like, to create habitat for them. And we had been talking about maybe installing some around Auburn Pond, I think is where we were
By the
talking.
library there.
By the library.
Library.
Yeah.
And we had specifically mentioned, oh, it would be cool if there was some Boy Scout who was
Eagle
interested
Scout project, yeah.
in doing this. So, I don't know if that's of interest to you, I don't know how you,
You could
You are
reclaim
with-
some wood, you could get some reclaimed wood and possibly learn how to build them and then put them up. That would take you 6 to 9 hours.
Yep, that's probably.
That sounds more like an Eagle project. It sounds a little bigger.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, this is just for hours, not for your
This is just
Eagle?
for a badge.
all right.
This is just for a
I thought it was an Eagle project.
oh, okay. I don't know what the extent of these things are. I've
Actually,
not been a Boy
like
Scout.
community service.
Ah.
But like that would work, I think.
Well,
I think it's that hard. I mean, you can use a hammer.
yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
You know, they do the townwide cleanup every spring, and that's a perfect conservation thing, just to kind of help out, and they spread out all over town. Problem is, he wants to get the hours in this fall
Okay.
to get the badge.
Sure.
Is there an area of town maybe, is
Don't-
like somebody to clean up for you?
Don't we
or-
have, like, I've seen on like our town plan that we own properties?
We own property.
Like, what is with, sorry, this is kind of a separate story, but literally, like, what is going on, like, what's there?
People apparently grant, when they do estate planning, they give property to the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
So is it, who maintains it?
No one to my knowledge.
So it's just like overgrown and,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's, this came up, we discussed this, oh God, 10, 15 years ago, I think.
You're making us think, sorry.
So I think there is a map somewhere, although I haven't seen it in a long time.
yeah, I was like, I wanna look this up, this is interesting to me.
But I think, yeah, they're rowdy out there. To the extent that we have something, that there is a parcel, we might be able to use the services, but I think it requires more research.
Yeah.
So do you have a deadline when you wanna get your badge?
I just kind of wanted to get it done like
This
in
fall?
the fall, pretty much. Yeah.
Like by October or November?
I don't know. I just wanted to get it done before like the school year starts and like fall sports.
Okay, so that's actually like August.
August.
Yeah, August.
Okay,
Late summer.
all right.
What
Let's- Well, August is,
No, I was just thinking
next
like,
week.
what other, like, properties that would, like there's Auburn Pond, I don't know if that's been cleaned.
We might be able to come up with something. So, I'll tell you what, why don't, if you don't mind, our next meeting is gonna be on August 14th, so a couple weeks from now. And by that time, hopefully we'll have some ideas for you and we can offer those ideas to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
good. So we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks
All right,
for
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Thank
coming in.
thinking of us.
Thank you. And sitting
Thank
through all
you.
of that.
Yeah, of course.
I know, as far as donating the, for the town, the land for the town, Mr. Granger,
Oh,
you must
yeah.
know that name.
I did.
I live up on Prospect Hill. I think he donated he owns a huge plot of land around Prospect Street, and his son lives at the house now, but he said when his son dies, that all goes to conservation.
Wow.
That's what he told us.
We gotta look into some of these things.
It's a huge piece of property, too.
Well, that's very
What
good to
can we
know.
do with that stuff?
We need the money to do something with it.
Huh.
Put in trails, I don't know,
Yeah.
We had some
So
key-
put in pollinator gardens, put in
a rain garden.
Fabulous idea.
all kinds of things.
And you know, for his badge, there's other kids in the troop who will probably be looking to earn this badge as well. They have to do 6 service hours for the badge, 3 of them have to be conservation, but they could do all 6 in conservation.
They could
Okay.
like,
So once he has ideas, he'll probably be able to go to because he has to run this all by the troop master, scout master.
Alright.
But maybe there'll be other kids, so they can, like the
Yeah.
townwide
Help
cleanup,
each
the
other
whole
out.
troop shows up.
And if you have some ideas, by all means,
yeah,
bring them
throw
with
them
you.
out there.
Okay?
We're in.
Yeah. I thought you guys might have some, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Well,
we'll
but we're out with
start
bag
thinking about it.
boxes, so there is
Yeah,
that.
and nobody ever comes to us and asks for this, so we
Yeah.
had to think about it.
Yeah, we have to think about that.
Sounds
We'll think
good.
about it though.
That other one sounds like a good eco project though.
Yeah, it does.
Awesome.
Very good.
Okay.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you for coming in.
Thank you. All right, bye. All right. Actually, I love that pollinator garden.
Mm-hmm.
We could spend some money on some seeds, you could actually go to one of those sites and actually
Yup,
throw some seed out.
All right.
yup.
We're here longer than I thought we'd be, so, not that I mind, I think you probably mind. In any event,
Not
I
really.
just wanted to kind of bring you up to speed. We have, for other business, I've been advised by Jesse that apparently our friend Mr. Goodman has retained someone from Ecotech. A notice of intent allegedly is being prepared. Whether we see it on August 14th or not remains to be seen. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Sweet.
So that's, and meanwhile, the fine is $100 a day and it keeps
Going.
ticking. We have orders or conditions to do for 26 Albert Street, for 7 St. Mark Street, and we also have to make a determination of applicability for the house removal at 25 Mile Street. With respect to 26 Albert Street, the enforcement order, Jesse and I have been spending, I think, a fair amount of time trying to get a determination on when the violation was first observed by a town official. It's also fair to say that we've had difficulty in getting that date or pinning that date down. And I think that date's important because if we are inclined to impose fines, and as I read our regulations, I think we have to. I think it's mandatory, not discretionary. Out of fairness to the violator, we need to have a beginning date when the violation was first noted by the town. So it's something that we are still working on. I just wanted to let you know that, but we're not in a position to do anything about that tonight.
Do we not have like even any email that you sent like from that guy saying, "Hey Jesse, I saw such and
So
such."
that's the issue is that Gary brought it to me, I believe, on a Friday, and then we went out likely the following Monday, and he just mentioned it to me, word of mouth. There was no email or anything
And
like
did
that.
you ever email us about it?
Well, I emailed you guys about it, but over that weekend, they saw Gary going down the road and thought to themselves, oh, well, we better, get some erosion controls up.
But you were there and you observed it.
I was there on April 3rd. That was the first time I went by, and I'm assuming that they put up the silt fence and the erosion controls over that weekend. So the first time that I was there observing it, the erosion controls were already in place.
How much of a difference was there in date between what you think he like said it to you and
I think he saw it. It was literally the week before. He mentioned it on a Friday, like, "Hey, we'll check this out on Monday."
So it was literally the Friday before April 3rd?
It was, yeah, I believe so. It's like I
So-
said, there's nothing in writing.
But anecdotally, he indicated that he believes the road had been used for months. This is the problem. The problem is that, and again, if we are inclined to impose fines, we have to be specific. We can't just say, well, we think we're gonna fine you $5,000.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and because I've actually read the decisions on this, and when boards are found to have acted in an arbitrary or capricious manner, they get reversed.
But can we, yeah, I totally agree. Can we just go with the April 3rd date?
That's when he saw it and saw that the erosion control measures were in place. The question is, when was the violation first seen?
Well, isn't the violation isn't just that there wasn't erosion control, it was that the road was being used at all, correct?
Correct. And,
So-
and when did we shut them down? We shut them down after April 3rd, right?
Yes, it was probably shortly after April 3rd. I have the original enforcement order that we sent out. I know when we sent that out, we wanted them to get a restoration plan into us by the May 8th meeting.
Did they?
I believe they did, yes.
So what we could do, to follow your point, is that we could use the first date being April 3rd, because again, the work that was done, or their use of the road was not permitted by us. It was not on the plan, it was not part of the order of conditions. And maybe to your point, start with April 3rd and then use May 8th as the cutoff.
Right.
Is that what you're suggesting?
I think that that's a good, fair.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair.
We can prove both of those.
Yep,
Okay.
makes sense to me.
So you can't go retroactive, you have to have a definitive date, like you said, it could go the other way for us if.
I mean, I think the problem is that if we don't know specifically when the violation first occurred.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, if depending on how much you wanted to fine them, I mean, if you fine them 10 grand, they could appeal it and say, well, you know, that fine is arbitrary because it doesn't start from a specific date. I think along the lines of what you're suggested, which I actually like a lot, we could use the first date of April 3rd, and then the restoration plan of May 8th being the cutoff for that. So that's roughly, it's a little less than 5 weeks. So, is there a motion? Megan, or
It
anyone?
doesn't have to be, look, I don't know, Michelle looked like she was rubbing up.
Yeah, I was pretty, yeah, I say we use that plan, that we go from April 3rd until May 8th, when we can prove that they actually were using the road until the date that the
plan was submitted. Okay, and what do you wanna, what's your thought about a fine? How much per day? I think we can, we have a maximum. but I think-
Maximum of 300.
Yeah,
Correct.
it was 300.
There's no minimum, I mean, and again.
I thought it was a $50 minimum per day.
Yeah,
I think you're right. So the question is, you tell me what you think,
So if it's 5 weeks, 7 times 5, 35 times, the $100 a day, that would be about $3,500.
I think that that's fair.
is, okay, so is there a motion?
Would you guys be alright with deferring on actually making a motion until the next meeting? And then I'll print out, you know, the pictures that I took on that April 3rd.
Sure.
And then I'll make copies of the enforcement order that went out, you know,
And, I think that's a good
in front of
idea,
us.
because I think, since we are thinking about imposing a fine, I think there has to be a written decision.
You guys
Yeah,
have
sure.
to actually, the 3 of you have to be here. I am not going to be here next meeting.
Yep.
Okay. I will not
Well,
be.
we need 4, and hopefully, and just,
I'm
as an,
not,
I know, as
so
an
that's
aside,
4.
we may have another potential, member.
Oh, that's good.
He applied actually almost 2 months ago, but, I hope, actually, Justin and I hope to interview him tomorrow. His name is Mark Sclamo. He's a pipe fitter by profession, has lived in Auburn for, I think, over 30 years. So, we're gonna hopefully interview him tomorrow, and my hope is that he will be on board by the time
Okay.
of our August 14th meeting. So I wanted to mention that to you.
Yeah,
All
I wish
right.
I could make a promise that I'll be there, but my schedule is just nuts.
No,
I
So,
know, I
yeah.
understand
Yeah,
that.
fair enough.
I appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna defer then on Albert Street, the enforcement order. All right, so let's get to the orders of conditions for 26 Albert Street and for 7 St. Mark Street.
Oh, look at that. Came prepared.
Okay,
Sorry, which we're talking about?
we're talking about 26 Albert Street, the actual roadway that they did not include on the last plan that they are now including on this one.
Okay.
Joseph Albert Street. Wait a minute.
Did we just forget to vote about this last time?
No, we didn't. It's not a question of not forgetting to vote. We deferred
Oh, okay.
action on the notice of intent.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
I remember. Okay. So wait, this is that part. They're building that whole thing. Sorry. All right, so,
Standard order plus.
all right, 1. So, 2.
Mhm.
3.
Right.
I think 4.
there's no replication.
There is no replicate, what is this right here?
That is,
Is that just the, I can't see.
that's where
Is
they
that
put
was it, that's where they put in the,
the erosion control
the
measures.
erosion yeah, okay. So that would be 5.
Okay.
Eight.
Mm-hmm.
So just, I don't think there's any,
Well, their
I don't-
wetlands are right there.
so, okay, so 9,
Okay.
I think 10, but I don't know, that could
No,
be,
There's no evidence of
there's
endangered
none,
species.
right? There's
Right.
none. Okay, so 9.
How about
Before we
11?
continue on, I just want to make a point.
Yeah.
The road part for the intersection was an RDA, which we voted for a negative determination.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, are we still?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Oh, I'm looking back at the meeting minutes, because I think this was originally done as an RDA,
Uh-huh.
and we gave them a negative determination on it.
That was different. That was on,
That's the other.
that's the actual intersection at the bottom of the street. We're
Okay.
talking strictly about
This,
the road
that
where they've
road.
been shuttling gravel
The path, okay.
between Oxford and Auburn.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And, all right, so they're saying it's gravel access. Now, are we gonna talk about, you know, I should ask that first. They're planning on paving this?
No, I don't think they are planning to pave it. I think they talked about, but keeping it and making it like a trail.
Yeah, they
Right.
could pave it if we wanted them to, is what the guy said. You know, like when they do a rail trail.
Didn't he say he was gonna pave it?
I think they
Cause
were
I was
talking, it was like it was
disappointed about that.
optional.
Yeah, it was like an option, you know,
Like
like
it
when they
was
do
still
a
in
rail trail,
discussion.
when they wanna keep a
So
walking path.
Should we put that if they plan on paving it, they need to come back to us?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so, all right, you've gone through special conditions, but I don't think you're finished with those.
okay.
So so far you've
Oh,
given,
yeah. Hold
given
on,
us
there's
1,
more.
2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11,
11.
and I think that's it. So you, I think to your point, yeah, to the extent that improvements are proposed for the gravel road, they have to come back, and they would have to come back because it's jurisdictional.
Okay.
But we can put in that special condition that they are required to return the commission to file a notice of intent if they intend to pave or otherwise improve the gravel road.
Okay.
I also want to put in a condition that the issuance of an order of conditions for the gravel road does not exempt the applicant from the enforcement order and potential consequences of the enforcement order. And Jesse, I can give you some language on that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so, standard motion, to enter plus, special conditions 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11. They have to come back if they're gonna improve the gravel road, and issuance of the order conditions does not excuse non-compliance, or failure to, have previously filed with the commission that is the subject of the enforcement order. Is there a second?
There should be 11 on that too. 9 and 11.
Yeah, I have
Yep,
one.
yep.
Yeah, I said 11.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, there's a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it's a vote. Okay, good.
And just, the reason why a lot of times they will pave those roads, when I was on the board in Spencer, they did the rail trail and they had to pave it because to make an ADA compliant. I guess that's one of the things, to get certain funding for it.
Oh.
But that was, trying to think of the name, it was a trust that owned it. And they were getting like public money, so they had to do it, but they might not have to do that because they're private, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
Gotcha.
that would be up to,
Okay, for 7 St. Mark Street, is there a motion?
make a motion, we issue a standard order plus the following special conditions. Basically the same as the ones we just did, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 11.
Okay. What about a berm? Do we think there's a berm that needs to be put at the edge of the work? I'm not sure it's necessary.
I'm not really sure it's necessary. I mean, I do feel like it should be followed up, like, I mean,
Could put in, I think Glenn mentioned something about monitoring it.
Yeah, but, I mean, who's gonna monitor it? They're not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
monitor
true.
They're gonna clear out that area and then they put the stone down and move it around and,
You know
yeah,
what
I mean,
what they could do instead of a berm? Well, I was gonna say they could, but I think he offered putting in 6x6 timbers. I don't even know if that's necessary really. So, I mean, if you think a berm is necessary, that's fine.
I don't necessarily, I mean, I'm not an engineer, and I haven't even seen it rain out there to know how
I mean-
it's gonna,
I mean, the wetland area is substantially lower than the back of that property too. It's down
yeah.
the hill. So I think whatever encroachment that is would be very minor, is my feeling.
I'm not super worried about it. I mean,
They indicated to us that they wanna get the work done soon. Cause,
Yeah.
You were at the site, I mean, they've got
Yeah.
no room at all,
yeah,
really,
it's
you
really
know?
tight back there. I don't absolutely think it's necessary.
Okay. And in that case, there's Tom's motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Okay, and last but not least, the request for determination to remove the house at Vinyl Street. Is there a motion?
Tom, I'm gonna let you do this one, cause it seems like a big one. Go ahead, you do it.
I make a motion, I make a motion we issue a negative determination.
Provided.
Provided that, let's see, there's gonna be some provisions in there.
Yeah.
They got erosion control measures in place,
They do.
but like, we found out about the septic, so it's gotta be, I don't know what the rules are, but if there's like, the Board of Health has to sign off that septic system is completely removed, whatever the local.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, if the house is 30 years, I can't imagine that was a new septic system, right?
Right.
They might just, I don't know if they'll crush it and just fill it in. My concern was just to make sure that, once all the work is done, that, the ground is level. There are no gaps or no chasms or gaps that would pose a safety hazard or something like that.
Cause don't they still have to go through the planning board to get the actual,
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to get the
like
site
to
plan
get
approved.
the other stuff done, right?
Yeah.
Like the removal of the building.
He said they had filed for a permit, but
Yeah.
they were waiting to hear from us,
Okay.
so.
They wouldn't need to go through planning just to remove the house, but in order to get all the duplexes approved, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know, like, how much did we actually need to specify about, like, the septic or the house, or is that gonna be all covered by, like, making
It'll
sure?
be covered by the building permit. There'll
Okay.
be an inspection after they've finished that, where either Gary or John goes
Finish
out.
removing?
Yeah, finish
Okay.
removing the house,
But
yeah.
I think to your point though, it should be specified that the house and the septic system will be removed.
Mhm.
So, all right, that
House-
was
Yep, so house and septic removed,
filled in,
filled in, compacted, and graded with no,
to ground level.
to ground level, yeah, no spaces, no holes.
Right. Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Okay.
I wonder if they'll end up doing groundwater testing because of the septic, or because it's that far out? I'm not sure, for things like fecal coliform and all that,
You know,
bleach.
possibly, and again, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, when I first started on the board, there were a lot of subdivisions, not so many condominium projects, but a fair number of subdivisions. And the reality is that over time, the amount of buildable land has really shrunk in Auburn. So this is, I think, one of the bigger projects we've probably had in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the planning board will eyeball it. Obviously, you've got neighbors that I think are pretty savvy and obviously very concerned about what's going on there. So, I think if there are issues they want to address, I think the planning board will deal with it. So we'll see. And I think again, because we have not had a presentation from Scott Jordan, I think we can raise these issues with him too.
Yeah.
So, all right, is there any new business?
Well, I just
got
wanna say,
one quick thing, you can go first.
okay, good. I'm not gonna be here on the 14th, as we all know. So I have these 2 articles that if somebody wants to read and just bring up to, you know, somebody just to have as knowledge for the next meeting. One is why ash is bad in waterways, because that is going to be probably coming up in the next meeting, because that is, just as the guy told us, 100,000 cubic yards
Of ash.
of ash that could possibly be running into Stoneville Reservoir.
I can definitely scan those and
Okay.
email them to everyone if you'd
Yeah.
like.
And then,
Could you do that?
Yeah.
and then why organic is toxic, just by the way, and how it poisoned families, just.
Yeah.
Why
Awesome.
organic
Yeah, I'll
is
send it out to everyone tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm interested.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome.
I'll have to get more than the headline.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I
Oh,
have
I'm
a-
sorry, you have one thing.
I promised DPW I'd show this to you guys. They have a couple small projects they're looking to do, and they're just trying to figure out if you guys think it's necessary to see a filing. I was trying to find information on. I know that certain, town just maintenance is exempt.
Right,
Um,
is this beyond that?
That's what I am unsure of. So the first thing, the picture is of the second item, which is Robertson and Dryden, I think.
Okay,
There's an old metal pipe in
Right.
the ground that's not serving any purpose. It's just old and rusted and sitting there, and
so what are they gonna do, just,
they just want to remove it and restore the natural, flow of
Mm-hmm.
water through that area. They're not installing anything new. They're
so
just,
how? They're just gonna leave it open?
well, I don't think it's attached to anything.
No, I understand
Correct.
that, but it says, reestablish the flow pattern. Well, the flow pattern in a swale, in a channel, what's it gonna flow in, I guess is my question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you.
What is this a picture of?
So they
That's
don't know
just
how,
showing the pipe.
they don't know how
Oh,
big
okay.
it is until they tear it up, huh?
No, so
there
I've
it is.
seen it, and it's exposed.
You know
Like
what?
both
Can
ends,
you
it's
send us
just
the,
Yeah, I'm not.
basically a piece of trash.
send us the address and maybe we can take a look on Saturday?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
can I keep this?
Yeah, of course. And we can save it for the next meeting. I have minutes on if we want to knock them out. It's up to you guys.
No, I think
We're only,
we've done our duty.
this is the last meeting, so we're up to date anyways.
Perfect. Okay, is
All
there a
right.
motion to adjourn?
Absolutely.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to Chris, he was first. Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, everyone, thank you.
Right.
This conference is no longer being recorded.